Sometimes the most unexpected things can teach us the most about life. And I was reflecting on the time I went paragliding in Costa Rica and realized how much it taught me about focus during difficult times. I was on some say yes to everything shit, and that's the only reason I said yes to some random man in my hostel asking me if I wanted to jump off a cliff in the middle of nowhere, Costa Rica. When we got to the top of the mountain, I was given 3 steps. 1, walk towards the edge when I say walk. 2, start running towards the edge when I say run. And 3, don't stop moving your legs until I tell you to sit. And so I repeated those things 100 times in my head before we got ready to jump. But I still wanted to remember every moment of that experience. I wanted to feel the exhilaration. I wanted to remember jumping off a cliff and trusting this random man to take me off the cliff and not into the bushes at the bottom of the hill. It was super cool. We spent 45 minutes up in the air. I didn't know you could get airsick. It's a thing. I got it. And it was just beautiful. 10 out of 10 would recommend. The views were incredible. If you get the chance to go do it, go do it. It's scary, but one thing I learned was when I focused hard on the 3 steps that I had to do in order to get off the cliff and not fall to my death, I overcame the fear of jumping off a cliff and overcame my fear of heights and all the things that could go wrong. When I focused on the 3 steps that I needed to do, I trusted that those would get me to where I needed to go. And I think that's a lot of times something that we can apply to when we're trying to accomplish our goals. I know for myself personally, there's been times where I've been afraid to dream big, or when I do, I doubt my ability to get to those end goals. This was almost a year ago, and I continue to reflect on that experience, and I realized that focus is one of the most important things in trying to achieve your goals. I wanted to separate it into 3 steps, like walk, run, and then don't stop moving your legs. Number 1 is know what you want to do and why. Okay, so set your goals and know what you want to do. Detail it. Detail it. Details are so important. What do you want it to look like? People need a really strong why. And you have to think about that why through the whole process. And remind yourself why you are going through the day-to-day tasks. So the most successful people in this world have a pretty strict regiment. They have high quality things that they put in their body so that the things that they produce are also high quality. So some of those things, like you've probably experienced in your life, eating vegetables, not always the most fun thing. But if you understand that eating vegetables is a beneficial input to your body that allows you to have the energy that you need to participate in the things you have to do in order to become successful, then it becomes something that maybe isn't easier, but you are more willing to do in order to get where you want to go. Number 2, figure out the steps to get to your goal. Okay, so in all businesses, they have relatively defined steps in order to become successful in that business. A ladder, may we say. And there's different ways to move that ladder to make it individual to myself, but at the end of the day, there's a pretty decent defined way in order to be successful. So I'm gonna look at those steps and then maybe write how I can relate to those to myself and make them individual to me. My steps and actions have to align with my goal, right? And just like when I was about to jump off a cliff, I was repeating the steps in my mind, okay? So maybe take a couple defined actions, like your next 3 steps, and just repeat those to yourself often, okay? Walk, run, don't stop moving. Walk, run, don't stop moving your legs. It takes incredible focus to be able to get to your goals. And if you really stick to those steps, then you will continue to progress yourself forward, and the more energy and the more attention and the more time you can invest in those steps and accomplishing those steps, the faster you're going to get to your goal. And the final step that I want to talk about is action, taking action. So it doesn't matter how much you plan, how much you educate yourself on how to get to your goal, it is all about the actions you take. I would say this is probably one of the most difficult steps too. I mean, yes, it takes discipline to sit down and write out the steps and write out the things you want to accomplish, and it takes courage to dream boldly. But the most courage is when you take the first step. But I feel like when you break it down into the initial steps, it makes it easier. So when I look at the big, I want to be a successful YouTuber, I'm like, oh, that's intimidating. There's so many things that go into that, and so much time and so much effort and all these things that, you know, maybe like I'm not ready for that yet. So break those things down and then it becomes an actionable step is what we call it. You know, it's an actionable step. It's something that we feel like we have the confidence to take action on. The final point I really want to talk about is focus requires sacrifice. And this one has been a very difficult one for me, and I like feel very emotional about to talk about it, because for a good bit of the beginning of my YouTube, I was, you know, working to make money and trying to do all these different things and trying to figure out what direction I wanted to take my YouTube. And I was flitting back and forth, and fishing has been something that I've talked about a lot on this channel, and it's something that when I did it for the first time, I was like, holy moly, this is like everything that I want to do, you know? Like, I just love being offshore, I love being on the ocean, I love being so disconnected from land and everybody on land. The team energy when you go and tournament fish, you know, like, and working together is just such a beautiful thing. Like, being able to pull up your own food, it's just a really incredible thing to be able to be a part of and experience. But it's something that I've had to give up because I really want to focus on my YouTube. I can't have the distraction of going to fish and taking up my whole entire day. And then if I wanted to do that for a full-time job, which is pretty much like the choice unless you have a boat, it's every day, all day. And that's not something I can do when I'm trying to build my YouTube channel, and maybe like once or twice a week, but that's just not how it works. And so when I came to that decision, it was a really hard decision to make. And it's something that I can come back to, and that's what I kept telling myself is like, yes, I have to give it up now, but I can always go back to it. Once I put a couple good years into building this YouTube channel, I can go about fishing in the way that I want to fish. And there's obviously so many other things that I've wanted to pursue but have to shut down right now, because my goal is to build my YouTube. And once I build it and have a successful YouTube and things are flowing, once I get there, one, maybe I won't care anymore about fishing, and I won't feel I don't know, I think I'll still feel the desire to be on the ocean, but it'll be in a different way, and I'll be able to do it whenever I want and build a program that I can go fishing with, or be a part of a program that I can fish with, and do it in the way that I feel is sustainable for me, while still having my number one goal is to have this YouTube. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to educate, to be able to adventure, to be able to see the world and document really awesome people, really awesome places, and just document my life. That's something I've been doing for a very long time via journal, and it just kind of makes sense that I'm doing this. So chasing goals requires sacrifice, and if I can put this in another way, working with a lot of the athletes that I have in my past as a strength conditioning coach, high-level athletes aren't afraid to sacrifice things everybody else participates in. High-level athletes are selective when it comes to, especially like in college, like obviously socialization and drinking and partying is something that college kids naturally participate in, but high-level athletes choose when to participate in it, and they don't go out all the time and they don't drink all the time because they know the detrimental effects that has on their bodies, and they don't choose to participate in some of the eating habits that other people have. They choose abnormal habits to have abnormal success. When the thing you want is so great you feel as if you have no other choice but to participate in the little things that get you there. No matter how unpleasant or bland they feel, you just don't care, because the thing on the other side of those habits is so beautiful and so enriching and fulfilling that you just don't care. And then you don't care what anybody thinks about why you choose those things, because they'll never know what's on the other side because they refuse to choose that. So yeah, let's review the 3 things. 1, create your dream and why you want to get there. Create your goal and why you want to get there. 2, repeat the steps and actions often. So figure out what actions get you to that goal and then repeat those things. Just choose 3. Just choose 3 that you can go through in your mind and move yourself forward. And then finally, take action. It is all about action. It is all about action. Talk doesn't get you anywhere. You must take action. I'm really encouraged and inspired by doing this. I want to bring this to you, but it also helps me, and I'm just so thankful that you guys are here to hold me accountable, and hopefully we can hold each other accountable. I think that's the beautiful thing about having a community on YouTube, is that we can all be friends and encourage each other through this life, which can sometimes be difficult. And I think it's made to be an uphill battle for us. And that's what's beautiful about it, is that we are always growing and we are always pushing to accelerate ourselves and to grow ourselves. And when we have people with us to walk with us and help us through the hard times, just makes the journey a little bit better. So I love you guys, and go out there, write down your dreams, and get after it. I am here to support you. If you ever need anything, let me know, reach out. I'm here to encourage. Okay, bye!